Welcome all. In this video, we are going to see about GitHub. We will see introduction to the GitHub, and followed by that, we will see the key features of GitHub, and we will do the first contribution to the GitHub as well. Now, let's see what is GitHub. So GitHub is a development platform that enables you to host and review the code or manage the project and build the software. Alongside, there are 50 million developers. And why everyone is using GitHub? Because it provides the more important features called DevOps for the companies and organization of all sizes needed for their private or even or public projects, whether it is planning features or any fixing bugs or collaborating with our colleagues on changes. GitHub is the place where the world's software developers gather to make the things, and they make them better as well. So we have seen, we means for now you may know what is GitHub and why multiple developers are using GitHub. Now let's see on daily basis, you may heard of a term called GitHub Flow. So in addition to providing a platform for collaborative software development, GitHub also offers a workflow design to optimize our various features. So this particular unit offers a overview of platform components. It is recommended uh, if we use the GitHub Flow more frequently, we can have a more collaborative software development. It will be in place. And as we see, you may heard of a term called Git and GitHub. So now let's see what is the difference between those two. So Git is a distributed version control system that allows multiple developers or other contributors to work on a project. So it basically provides a way to work with one or more local branches and push them to a remote repository. So Git is responsible for everything GitHub related that happens locally on our computer. And the key features provided by Git is it is actually we can easily install it and we can use it on our local machine, and it handles version control. So this is the most important thing, and it also supports the branching. And if you see the GitHub, so GitHub is actually a cloud platform that uses Git as its core technology. Okay, and it also simplifies the process of collaborating on projects, and it also provide a website, CLI command line tool, and overall flow that allows developer and users to work together. And also GitHub acts as a remote repository, as like Git as well. And in the GitHub there are some key features in there. So now let's see the key features of GitHub. So the first one is the issues. So issues are where most of the communication between a project consumers and the development team occurs. An issue can be created to discuss a broad set of topics like including bug reports or any feature request or documentation clarification and more. So once the issue has been created, so it can be assigned to owners, it can be assigned to owners, labels, project, and milestones. And also we can also associate those issues with pull requests and other GitHub items to provide the future traceability. For example, if I am going to create an issue which is going to be implemented like maybe a second quarter or a third quarter, so we can attach this particular issue to some kind of any pull request or any project, so that it will be easier to tracing these issues. And the next one is the notifications. So as it is a collaborative platform, right, GitHub, so it offers notifications as well for virtually every event that takes place within a given workflow. So these notification we can easily fine tune based on our preferences. For example, I can subscribe to for my issue creation. For example, if I created an issue, I want to get notified if an owner is getting updated, or of any update that is going to be made in that issue. If I want to get notified, then I can easily subscribe to the specific issue. And also, if any project edit has been done, that also we can able to get the notification. And also we can decide whether you receive notification via email or web or mobile or both. And also to keep track all our notification, we are means there is a dashboard as well, GitHub notification dashboard. We can easily get those notification in there as well. And the next one is the branches. So branches are the preferred way to create change in the GitHub flow. So they provide actually an isolation so that multiple people may simultaneously work on the same code, but in a controlled manner. So that is the major use of branches. So this model enables stability among critical branches such as main, so which allowing complete freedom for developers to commit any changes they need to meet their goals. So once the code from a branch is ready to become part of the main branch, it may be merged like easily by raising a pull request. The next one is the commit. A commit is actually a change to one or more files on a branch. So every time if I do a commit, it will be having a unique ID, and it will be getting tracked along with the time and the contributor. So this provides a clear audit trail for anyone reviewing the history of a file or a linked item, such as an issue or a pull request. If I'm going to do some audit, I can easily able to see who have done this change, and with the hash ID, unique hash ID will be there. So via that, I can easily get all the details. And the next one is the pull request. A pull request is actually a mechanism used to signal that the commit for one branch are ready to be merged into one another branch. So the developer will submit a pull request, will often request like one or more reviewers to verify the code and approve the merge, so that uh, the code which is having a bug or the code which is having some issues are not merged into the main. So best practice is like to have one or more reviewers to have it checked, and these reviewers have the opportunity to comment on the changes and add their own, or use the pull request itself for further discussion. So if I want to do some changes, if I'm going to be a reviewer, I can easily update some it needs some update. So kindly work on this, and again merge the request, again raise the pull request. So via that, once the change has been approved, the pull request host branch will be maybe branched into the base branch. And the next one is the label. So label a way to categorize and organize our issues and pull requests in a repository. So as we create a GitHub repository, several labels will automatically be added for you, and also new ones can also be created. So examples of some of the labels, like most frequently used labels like bug, documentation, duplicate, help wanted, enhancement, question. So these are all the labels. We can use it based upon our condition. As this month, Oktoberfest, it is happening. So in Oktoberfest, there is a contributor guidelines are mentioned. So in there, so we need to have a label called Oktoberfest accepted, or we need to have a topic, Oktoberfest topic. It should be in the repository. So those are all some of the labels I just want to mention. The next one is the actions. So GitHub Actions provide task automation and workflow functionality in a repository. So basically, it can be used to streamline our process in our software development lifecycle, and implement CI/CD. So basically, CI/CD is continuous integration and continuous deployment. So GitHub Actions are composed of some following components: workflows, event, job, steps, actions, and runners. So basically, each component uh, will have its own purpose. So basically, workflow, what will be does is it is used for an automated process that is added to our repository. An event is an event is the one which will trigger the workflow, and a job. So a set of steps. So a set of steps that will be executing on a runner, and steps that can run one or more commands, and actions. So basically what that will do is a standalone command that can be combined into steps. So multiple steps will be set to create a job. And runner serves that as the GitHub action runner application installed. And the next one is the cloning and forking. So GitHub provides multiple ways to copy a repository so that we can work on our own repository. So the first one is the cloning a repository. So it will make a copy of the repository and its history on your local machine. So if we have write access to the repository, we can push changes from our local machine to the repository as once they are completed. So that is called as an origin. Or otherwise, if we are not having an access, I just want to copy that repository into my GitHub account. So on that case, I can use the fork. So what this fork will be doing is the parent repository is referred to as an upstream, and while our forked copy is referred to as an origin. So once we fork the repository into a GitHub account, we can clone into our local machine. So forking allow us to freely make changes to project without affecting the original upstream repository. So to contribute the changes back to the upstream repository, we can easily raise a pull request to from the forked repository, or otherwise we can also run git commands to ensure that our local copy and the upstream repository both are same. So we can easily means we can easily create a pull request so that our forked repository and the upstream repository will have stay synced. And the next one is the GitHub Pages. So GitHub Pages is actually a hosting engine that is built right onto our GitHub account. So by following some few conventions and enabling this feature, we can easily build our static site generated from HTML and Markdown code pulled directly from our repository. We can easily build our own static site from HTML. Now we will jump into a demo on getting started on GitHub.